What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. First, I just want to sit here and take a second to thank all my subscribers for sticking with me and just, I don't know, watching my videos. If you do watch them, whatever, either way, I appreciate all the support. It means a lot to me. And yeah, so without further ado, we're going to get into a video today. Today's video is finishing up the BBDB, the budget BMW drift build. We're not finishing, but trying to get it to a point where we're just ready to go drifting. We're only 2 steps away from having the car back on the road and ready to go drifting. We have a drift event at the end of the month and the beginning of next month that we're trying to make 2 to 3 events, pretty back to back. So I'm really excited for that. Hope you are too. And this time I will get some video footage. The car should be more competitive. Not necessarily competitive in a way of like competing, but just more driftable, more drift worthy, just more fun and more capable. So give you a quick rundown. If you haven't watched the last few videos, please go back and do so. We have removed all the rubber bushings, installed Condor speed shaft, solid subframe, differential, trailing arm bushings. We also have front control arm Lollipop bushings to install, we'll get to later. And we installed a new, we swapped over the guts of our welded into a new case with a 3.91 final drive. That's right, we've been busy. And we did the reinforcement, even though it came out kind of shitty. Not the happiest with it. It'll stick, it'll hold, it'll be good. But today's video is reinstalling the subframe, the differential, and getting the rear end back in the car, cause there ain't nothing there. It all gone. It all gone. Because it's right here. So we have to take 1 + 1 and make them united. I would say 2, but really we're trying to make them 1, so that wouldn't have made sense. Either way, all my failed humor attempts aside, we are putting the differential back in the subframe and then getting the subframe hopefully back in the car. So let's get to work. Well guys, I don't think I was fast enough to beat the weather because it looks like it is going to storm a bit. So I may have to take a break for a little bit, but we got the studs installed, we got the differential installed, we got the sway bar installed, we got trailing arm tight, everything's ready to go. The subframe is ready to be reinstalled back into the car. I could keep pushing forward, but I'd rather wait for the weather to blow over to see if it's gonna actually hit here or if it's gonna move on by. I really don't wanna be stuck underneath the car getting soaking wet, but here we are as of now. Everything is ready to go. If this weather blows over quick and everything, I can get back to work, get this thing back in here. I'm kind of glad I decided to mow the yard this morning, so it's done, but I really kind of wish I would have took the time this morning to work on the car instead. Alright, so now that our toe bolts are installed, we got our subframe mounts in. Everything's looking pretty good. Pretty excited. I'm gonna throw the other side, the other trailing arm in and everything like that. And then we'll have drive shaft, and then of course all the brake stuff, which I'm gonna wait because we're gonna be changing the SS lines. So we'll get the drive shaft reattached, and we'll get, yeah, I mean, that's getting about it. So yeah, we're just gonna keep on rolling. So yeah, there it is. Subframe's back in the car. We have our solid differential mounts, we have our solid subframe mounts, we have our solid trailing arm mounts. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So it is another day and another project, another part of the BBDB budget BMW drift build. That is a mouthful, but It's kind of catchy to me. So, BBDB, the budget BMW drift build. Either way, we got the subframe in last night. You saw that, the rain slowed us down a lot, and sadly that means that today is gonna be maybe a little less informative and a little bit more of just getting some work done. And I'm just gonna try to share with you what I come across while I'm doing things. So we're gonna try to finish the entire rear, get everything buttoned up. That's the brakes back on, new brake hoses, and of course, I have a surprise. That's right, guys, picked up some of my favorite, not really, but decent, I don't know, who knows, MAxpeedingrods Coilovers. So, I have these on the Civic / Integra, kind of on both cars at the moment, but I've driven them for a while. They ride decent, they're a little bouncy over big bumps, but they actually are, for $200, they're pretty damn good coilover. So I picked up a set for the budget BMW drift build. That's right, we're budget, so these things can be changed later on. I just needed something better than cut springs and crap. So I spent all the money on the Condor Speed Shop reinforcement and bushings and all that stuff. I had to save some money elsewhere. So we're trying these out. These are the adjustable model, so they have dampening adjustability, like 20 clicks or something like that, 30 clicks. I don't know, I have to look up again. Not too sure right off the top of my head of the full specs, but it is just your normal run-of-the-mill MAxpeedingrods Coilovers. I mean, what can I say? You know what they are. Here they are. I got the silver because I think they look a lot better than the yellow. Hello, yellow. Ugh. But we are going to be installing them today. Hopefully gonna get everything done. It's gonna be probably a long day. Sorry to my wife ahead of time because she's gonna probably not like it too much, but I made her a steak dinner last night, so maybe I can kind of like, maybe that bought me some brownie points that I can kind of work late on this thing. I'm getting a little bit of a late start. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, but we're getting it done. So let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so yeah, as you can tell, it is hotter than balls out here. I mean, geez, it is, whew, it's warm, I'm sweating, but we're getting work done. So we're working over here on the brake lines and everything to show you what we're doing. So here's our one line attached. Then you have this little metal S line that goes on the trailing arm. It then attaches to this next line, which screws in the caliper. Is you go ahead and install this line into the caliper first and tighten it. Now all our lines are reconnected and everything, and all we need to do is tighten them up. So all the Technofit lines uses a 9/16, and then the brake tubing nut is a 7/16. So use your backer wrench on your Technofit stainless line and then tighten the 7/16. That way it doesn't twist the stainless steel line and put any tension or you know, issue on it, so it's nice, lax, and able to be flexible. Alright guys, now that we have our brake lines all tightened up and everything, we went ahead and installed our caliper. We'll put our 2 pins back in. We got all our brake pads and everything all back in. Take our 7mm Allen, and we're going to tighten up these Allen bolts that hold the caliper on. Alright, now that's all done. The last step is just to install our clip. Which, that is not how it gets installed. That is how it gets installed. So, just so you can see the difference. Proper. Not proper. All right, there we go. Now our brakes are all back together. They're gonna need bled and everything like that, but that's to be expected. All right, so I'm super happy to have the brakes back together and everything, all the brake lines done in the back. So now we're gonna get to installing the coilover. So I'm gonna go get the parts together and everything like that, and I'll try my best to explain how to do it. I'm kind of a novice to an extent with this separate spring bucket coilover setup. On the 240 and everything, it's a, you know, kind of like a McPherson setup where the spring is a, you know, it's a true coilover. The spring sits on the shock body, so you adjust the preload with the spring, and then you adjust the ride height with the damper itself. From what I've researched and gathered, on the separate setups, you adjust your ride height with the spring in the spring bucket, and then you set droop with your damper. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to set the ride heights equal on left or right, and then I think I'm running 1 3/4 inches roughly. 1 3/4 inches of droop is about what I measured on the passenger side. So here's our damper strut, whatever you want to call it. This is going to get installed into the vehicle. I can't really show you very easily because it takes 2 hands, but here's our Z4 reinforcement. So all this does is slip down over there and basically thicken the material there to resist ripping out with the torsional loads of the suspension. So those are a factory BMW part, and because of the convertible, it's already pretty thick, if you can see there, but it's already pretty thick, but I can't really get in there to weld in a reinforcement or anything. So this was the next best thing, is I'm just gonna get this, slip it on there, and she'll be good. All right, guys, here's our coilovers installed. Oh yeah, looking fresh. That MAxpeedingrods. All right, so I have some questions for you guys, so comment down below if you know a better way or something I did differently that should have been done. But trying to figure this out because I'm new to separate damper, height adjustable, and spring on rear separate setups like this. So what I did is I set this to a height that I think will be decent, you know, to try out for a baseline, pretty much kind of in the middle of its adjustment. I did reuse the rubbers, isolators to keep down noise and stuff, which will give it a little height. But so let's just say I set this to the middle, and then I basically jacked it all the way until all the weight was on the vehicle, and I took a measurement from the ground, and let's say it was 24 inches. I then lowered it 2 inches, so it was at 22 inches, measuring from, like, you know, a fixed point to the ground to give it 2 inches of droop, and then I adjusted the strut and reattached it to the lower mount down here, so that basically when you jack the car up, the strut will allow 2 inches of droop. Now, if you think I should do something differently with this setup, let me know. I'm gonna try this out and see how it works. So basically I'm gonna keep the 2-inch rule of thumb for right now, 2 inches of droop travel. But now the rear's all done, I'm just gonna double check a few of my bolts, make sure everything's tight. And then we're going to put the wheels on, and we're going to lower it down and move on to the front. We're going to have to change the lollipops and install the front coilovers. So I'm super excited about that. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Well, that definitely doesn't look too low. Yeah, I think we can go down some, to be honest. But we're gonna adjust the ride height later. But yeah, there's quite a bit of fender gap, surprisingly. All right, so we have learned definitely gonna have to lower it some more. That's for sure. But I'm pretty happy. It's down on the ground. The wheels look fairly straight. I mean, I can't really tell if the toe's really messed up without getting some measurements and stuff. We're gonna tighten the top strut mount bolts because I leave those loose until there's weight to hold them up and seat them. So we'll tighten those, and then we're gonna get the front started. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so now that we got the rear done, for now, minus the ride height adjustment, we have moved on to the front. So this is currently what I have. I have some Jakey cut springs on some decent Bilstein shocks, but they're old and crusty and everything like that. So we got brake lines to brake hose to change. We got the lollipops to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get the lollipops out so we can work on those. Looks like I'm gonna need to get a control arm soon, or a ball joint, because of focus, little rip there, but it'll be all right for now. Get a couple drift vents, it'll be all right. But we'll get the lollipops out, and then we'll get these brake hoses changed, get all that stuff taken care of, and then move on to the coilovers. All right, so here's currently the lollipops that I'm running, which is basically a stock lollipop with some bolts shoved in and some sealant or RTV or some shit in there, trying to make them offset. And then this is actually a left lollipop flipped upside down, hence why it's not fitting properly. You just take these 2 bolts out, and then you have to hammer them off or pull them off with a puller or something to get them off of the control arm. That's going to be the fun part, but we're going to see what I can do. Hopefully I just get tool and a hammer and just they'll pop off. Alright guys, so it doesn't seem to be working, so before I waste too much time and everything like that, since it's getting a little later in the day, I'm trying to get a lot done today, I'm just going to go ahead and rent a 2-jaw puller. So I'm going to run to AutoZone and rent one. So I'm going to put my camera on the charge. I'll be back. Alright guys, so I'm quickly running out of time. As you can see, I'm just sweating, working as hard as I can. I got one Lollipop done, so that was actually very painful to get them off the car. It's a good thing the next one is already off the car that I need to put the bushing in. So the one on the car, I can kind of just do whatever it takes to get it off and not really care about it because I'm not reusing it. But if you've never done this before, so Condor Speed Shop puts a little black dot on there which you align with that bump right there. As you can see, I got it pretty close. It doesn't need to be 100% perfect, but the better you can do, the better your alignment, or I should say the more equal your alignment will be to each other. But pretty much, yeah, that's good enough and everything. Next time I probably will order these already installed because they're a bit of a bitch to get in and out. But this is one done and it saves some money because we're all about that budget. Work harder, save money. Alright, so line the dot up with the mark, and then I've been laying this down like this on the anvil using a piece of wood and hammering it in. Once you get to a certain point, it's going to get flush here. I have a threaded thing from the hardware store that fits to the, it's larger than the outside diameter of the bushing, so I can put it around here and keep bashing her in. There we go. Bushing's fully seated. Alright guys, I'm not even going to pretend how you are supposed to remove these, but the way I've been doing it, and it works out fairly well, is I take a 3-jaw pulley puller thing here, which you can see here, and I pull the Lollipop off of the bushing, leaving the center sleeve, and then I cut it with my grinder, and it'll pop right off with a couple whacks of the hammer after that, once there's nothing really holding it to the shaft. Alright, so now that that's off, I will show you how I got the other one on. Very sketchy. Don't know how you're supposed to do this. I'm just making shit work. But yeah, give me a second. Alright, hopefully you can see this. Very awkward, but basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a ratchet strap to try to help hold this in here so I can get it started, and then I'll just hammer it in with a piece of wood. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the proper way to do this is. Comment down below if you know, so I can learn how you're supposed to do this, because this is pretty sketchy. Pretty sketchy, to be honest, but it works, or at least it worked on the last one, so we'll see. Alright, once I kind of got it started like that, then I finish it up with the 2x4 and a hammer. Now it's all the way on, so now I'm going to do is just remove my piece of wood here, get this ratchet strap out of here. Go get some bolts and bolt her on up. So let me go get the bolts, clean them up, get some anti-seize. We'll get this thing finished up, and yeah, that'll be the last of the Lollipops, and we can move on to something else probably tomorrow, because it's almost 6 and I'm taking my wife to the movies tonight. Alright guys, we did not get the full coilovers done, but we did get the control arms, the rear coilovers, and everything else tidied up in the rear brake line. So I'm going to end it today. I'm going to take my wife out to the movies, spend some time with her, because I've been working, and I am tired. But yeah, hopefully some of these videos have been helping you out. Hopefully you've been enjoying them. I've been enjoying making them and just enjoying getting the car ready for the drift event on the 29th. Super excited for that. But please like, share, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, make sure your notifications are turned on so it notifies you when there's new videos and new content. Other than that, cop a sticker. You know, we got the ClutchKickerNation stickers. Looking fire. I mean, look at that. That thing is hot. There's no sun here, you can't really see all the sparkle, but man, it is fire. You need to get you one. But that's gonna wrap up today's video. So I will catch you guys tomorrow, which I don't know if you'll see this actually when you'll see this, but whatever. In the timeline, it'll be tomorrow when this video picks back up. So later.